Yo, Still Mills, what's the deal, man? I'm heading back to the city, man. I just did a video and I just accidentally erased, like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I don't even know how I did that shit, bro. Like, oh my God, man. But peep game though, man. I want to talk about, is Andre running to 68 because he sees an imminent threat in the likes of Janibek, or is he like, fuck that, I'm about to go get this money from Canelo. I think I can beat this. I got what it takes to beat this dude, and I'm about to go prove it. And I'm kind of conflicted. Because I just went back and watched janibek, right? I just went back and rewatched him in Endom. And as I'm watching this fight, it's this dude's counterpunching is incredible. It's incredible. It's not like, that's his bread and butter, his counterpunching. And that can prove to be disastrous for the likes of a Demetrius Andrade. They both have the southpaw stand, so it's a mirror match. None of you guys have the advantage in fighting the conventional fighter. You know, it's no foot position in battle. It's none of that shit. It's not being able to jab to the out, to your opponent's lead hand to gain better positioning. It's none of that. You're in front of another southpaw. And with Demetrius Andrade's biggest flaw is how loopy his shots are. Like Teddy Atlas says, you got to cut some of the fat off of those punches. They're wide, and he doesn't have the best of balance. But he's one of them dudes where he's so good, you know, he's a good counterpuncher, he has good movement, to where by the time you realize that he's off balance, he's already regained his footing because he's at a reasonable distance to where he doesn't have to, and you just may not be the sharpest counterpuncher enough to capitalize on it. So he's been able to get away with that shit for, how many, 20-something fights? And with a cat like janibek, and I think, Liam Williams was his mandatory, but Liam Williams was able to push him, and Liam Williams is not fucking with janibek. I'm sorry. I'm watching this dude, and I'm like, yo, his we call it step. I said it before. We call it step backs at my gym, but his pull counter, his vocabulary with his pull counter, his vocabulary with it. So he's not just throwing the left straight down the pipe. He's launching the uppercuts off of it as well. That can prove disastrous because you don't know where the punch is coming from when he decides to throw it. You're that much more weary. Floyd, you knew what was coming with the Floyd. When Floyd would step back, the right straight down the pipe was coming off of that. With him, you don't know if it's a left straight or a left uppercut. That's scary for somebody who throws looping punches. I'm not saying he beats Andre, but he has a damn good chance at beating him. And Endom has been in there with, is Endom a better opponent than any opponent that Andre has fought? I'm not so sure. He's better than Lantis. I know that much. He may have I think him and I don't know. I haven't followed the career of Endom as much. Actually, not even as much at all. I haven't. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's the best. I don't know. I'm not sure if Endom is better than all of Andre's opponents, man. But goddamn, it has to be close to it. It has to be close to it. So I don't know, man. I'm not sure. I can't blame Andrade if he does. Yo, this shit is crazy. This is crazy. I think I gotta get me a new what you would call it. Let me tighten that shit up a little bit. Cause man, fucking hell, man. Like the bumps in the road got this motherfucker doing, tumbling out of the holster. Jesus. But yeah, man, I'm not sure. I don't want to say he's running. I don't think that he's shook of him or nothing like that. But I do think it's like In this climate today, because of Floyd Mayweather, you know, you can't afford to lose because you'll lose fans. You'll lose traction if you lose. So a lot of these people are coasting through their careers and not, you know, being really in a rush to take on the more risky fights because they don't want to lose. They don't want to lose. They're scared to lose. And that's sad. It's, you know, it's an occupational hazard. You're gonna get hit. Some fighters are gonna hit you more than other fighters. It just is what it is. Some, you know, they say, you know, styles make fights. That's for a reason, man. A motherfucker, sometimes a nigga's just a mauler. He's just not gonna let you. He's gonna find that pocket to split your guard, penetrate your defense, and clip a little bit more so than the other opponents. That's just how it goes sometimes. That's just how it goes. You're gonna lose. A loss is right around the corner in this sport. These are, you know, there's not too many people walking this planet outside of what it is that they do that can deal with them from anybody. Just think about that. In fighting, when you reach that level, when you reach world-class level, 90+% of the population who don't, you're not gonna be able to fuck with them. Your average man walking the street, even a motherfucker who love to fight in the street, is not gonna be able to deal with it. That just is what it is. So you're dealing with world-class fighters for the most part. So fans today don't want to see that, but they don't want to hear that shit. They don't, you know, they don't want to be that understanding of it because Floyd has set a tone in the universe that if you lose, if you snooze, you lose. If you lose, you snooze in this case. So I think with him, it's like I work too hard. I'm a 2-division world champion. So if I'm going to face an imminent threat, I may as well just jump up a division north and go holler, you know, activate my mandatory in Canelo Alvarez. Which I bet that. I don't see anything wrong with that. You could say it's a duck. You could say it's a strategic duck. You could say that, but I don't see how you could, due to the fact that, you know, it's Canelo Alvarez. He's the #1 pound for pound. He's in boxing. He's #1. So I wouldn't hold that against Demetrius Andrade and denigrate him for that. But I do think he realizes that imminent threat that lies in front of him. I think he does see that. I think he does see that. And janibek has a legitimate chance at beating Demetrius Andrade. He does. I can't even front. He has a legitimate shot at beating Demetrius Andrade. Because with him, it's his bread and butter is his counter punching, man. Like, he has a good jab, but it's not, you know, it's not like a thudding jab. It's not a jab that, you know, it's not a jab that he's gonna throw in combination and in volume. It's not a jab like that. It's, you know, it's a jab. It's a good jab. If nothing else is landing, I can stick the jab out there. I can use it to close distance. I don't really see him pumping the jab with the inside. It's not a jab equivalent to his countryman in Golovkin. Golovkin's jab, Golovkin is broken niggas down off of the jab. What he did to David Lemieux was strictly off the jab. He opened up, you know, he set up other punches off of the jab. You know, janibek doesn't have a jab like that, but he has a good jab. He has an active jab. It's not OD. It's not him, you know, it's not a Devin Haney jab. It's not a Vasily Lomachenko jab, but it is a good jab. And dig, he has the footwork there. One thing I really like about him is how poised he is in the pocket. That's what really stood out to me. He's real poised in the pocket, even on defense. I'm not a fan of the stance. I'm like, everybody uses the Philly, and I've explained how the Philly, you know, it's a lot easier on your arms because, you know, you're resting your arms on your body. The only person that uses the Philly to my liking out of Floyd Mayweather is Shakur Stevenson. I was really aggravated when Kambosos was using the Philly. You know, his hands are low, and I'm like, no. Sergio Martinez is one of my favorite fighters, and he didn't even fight in the Philly. Once he got comfortable, his hands was at his waist because he was that quick with his reflexes, and he was that sharp with his counterpunching, and he had impeccable footwork. So he was like showboat. His shit was down, and he was, you know, fainting at you and taunting you and shit, and inviting you to throw a shot because you think you see an opening, so he can open you up for a counter. That was a bad motherfucker right there. Janibek's hands are low. I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it, man. Because I don't know. I think when you fight, you know, when you step up in competition, that could be an occupational hazard. Where motherfuckers are just clipping you too much. And you're so stuck in this, you can't even do this. Because your brain is, you know, you're fixated on this. This is just, you're comfortable there. It's just muscle memory. It's what you've been doing for years. So I'm not a fan of this. I'm not the biggest fan of the feeling. However, with him, he's poised in the pocket when he uses it. He's poised, like he's slipping and dipping up under shots, like at close range in the pocket, in the clinch. I'm like, yo, this dude is nice. I'm seeing the footwork too, man. I'm seeing him cut angles and shit. Like, I'm seeing the punch selection. I'm seeing the uppercuts. I'm like, you know, his uppercut, I think, is pretty underrated. His uppercut, no, it's not underrated. I'm tripping. I just said that he, you know, that's in his arsenal off of a full counter. The dude has all of the punches, man. He honestly does. I'm not too big. I haven't really seen nothing miraculous with his hooks, but the hook is there. You know, I seen him when he throws in the volume and he's looking to step on you to get you up out of there. I see the hook there. It's there, but it isn't as prevalent as that uppercut in that left straight down the middle. So I'm not mad at Demetrius Andrade if he does decide to activate that mandatory in Canelo and go north. I would not be mad at it. I would completely understand it. I would completely understand it. And then, you know, all right, man, if I'm gonna lose, and I just think he feels he can beat Canelo. So if I'm gonna lose, why not go up there and get that work with Canelo? Then risk losing and taking a few steps back, losing to a solid and legitimate contender. Because these motherfuckers, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to, who the fuck is a Janibek? You bitch ass niggas ain't watching. Janibek is going to be a problem. From 60 to 68. Janibek is a problem. A legitimate problem. And he done already let Charlo and Andre know I'm on y'all ass, bruh. So y'all ain't no way, man. I need them belts, G. I need that. I needs that. So I don't know, man. Is it a strategic duck? You can say that. Or is it just a why fight him when I can activate my mandatory and go up and fight Canelo? It's more to gain. Him beating Janibek would be a great win. That'd be the best win on his resume if he was to beat a Janibek. If he was to beat Janibek, that's a great win on his resume. But, you know, Janibek doesn't have a belt at the moment, and Canelo is an undisputed world champion and just so happens to be the face of the division. So I ain't mad if he moves up. But he does see the threat in Janibek. He sees that. He sees that, because I see it. And I ain't mad at him if he doesn't, man. So I want to see what the fuck this kid is going to do moving forward, man, because I think this dude is a problem. He's a legitimate problem. He's a legitimate problem. And what y'all gonna do? What Charlo and Andre gonna do? What y'all gonna do? Peace.